Daddy worried about stuff like that too, chairs like that when I was here. But then again, I was on them back here always rocking on the back of one leg. So it was just inevitable that I would bust my head.
Hello, rail friends. Hang on 1 second. How are you guys today? And yes, it's another day of the wind look because we've got wind again today. Now, earlier, we thought we were going to chase the Conrail, but about the time we decided to head to Ottawa, it started pouring down rain. And then it was all dark and it showed a little spot of rain here, a spot of rain there. So we decided, since we had the conversation last night, we'd go to Dalton. I decided, well, what better place, unless it's blowing 25 miles an hour, can we go with an umbrella that's probably, I don't know, they probably spent $1 million on this umbrella above us, so we can stay dry. If it does start raining and the wind drops less than 25 miles an hour. As you know, all week long, I look like I'm on the front of the hood of a car doing about 60. So we are at North Dalton. For those of you who have not been on before, this is a live production. Last night when we checked it, we were running off the Wi-Fi yesterday. Last night when we checked it, 2 to 3 second delay. That's all there was. If it happened 2 to 3 seconds later, it was already back and processed through you that fast. So, like the lightning round. And since we are live, and probably someplace during the live, we're going to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow or April 5th. After the live video is done, and we hit done on the program, it processes through YouTube, and then it moves into the Rail Moments Live category on our YouTube page. Once Casey does his magical thing and puts the thumbnail on and stuff, and then drops into the Rail Moments Trackside Live library, where you can watch it for all the years to come. So, it is April 3rd, 2025. We are underneath the overpass. We are invading on the home of the pigeons. They get a little unhappy about it because they all kind of hang out here, and for some reason they just don't like intruders. But all that grain that comes off those hopper cars, or as we had talked a lot of times when they're filling, they spill the grain kernels up on top, drops along the track, and they go scouting here. And then tonight, I pulled up And I forget who it was that said this the other night, but someone said, all those orange shirts look like orange crayons standing along the track. So when I pulled up, I saw orange crayons, and I forget who it was that brought this up the other night. Here, and it's like, wow, they got shirts like real moments. And then I found out we had visitors before I even got here to visit. You guys ready to say hi?
Say hi.
Gavin, you excited? All right, y'all. For those of you that have not met Gavin, Mama Bear and Papa Bear, which is Kid Outdoors, they are already here. They beat me to the scene. So, it's excited and 100% know I was coming here. If anybody needs lottery tickets today, one of the three of these guys will tell you the winning numbers. And as I pulled up, there was a BNSF coal train, 2 pumpkins on the front, 2 pumpkins on the back. And Gavin, do you want to tell your story? No? All right, we're going to put a spokesperson in, but you can show what happened.
You wanna walk up there with me? He's watching the live stream on her phone. As the
All right.
BNSF went by, the conductor, as the BNSF went by, as he went by, I was filming with my phone, and all of a sudden, I seen the conductor lean out the window, and he was waving and giving the horn salute. And I seen him throw something. Hold it up, Gavin. Come here. Yep. Made his day because he loves BNSF. And so the train went by, and he threw it out. It landed on the tracks, and once it got around the corner, I went and grabbed it.
And if y'all want it really bad, we'll start an auction here in a little bit, but the opening bid is going to be $500, okay? So if anybody wants to raise their hand, that's where we'll start, because I got to tell you, as long as I've been doing this, that is the first thing other than bottled water that's been tossed out to us. So we are at Control Point, North Dalton. Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Little Bear, aka Gavin, are all here trackside. So we're ready. If you're ready, here we go. If anybody's trackside, let us know. Like I said, we missed the coal train, but we are right now. It takes a little bit of time to get all this set up and get everything connected and do all the things that you got to do. So, for those of you who have not been here before, you are currently looking south, headed towards, in the case of the NS track, you are heading south, and once you pass through Dalton, you're going to bend over to Rome and then go down towards Atlanta. And in the case of CSX, which is the W&A Sub, you're going to head on down to, Adairsville and down to Marietta and on into Atlanta. So that's your southbound view. And from this point, you can see the control lights for NS and CSX southbound. Red over red over red is your NS track, and red over red there to the right is your CSX track. Right beside of it is the old control tower where they used to throw the switches from. But as you know, in this day and age of technology, running out there to toss that is old school, except if you're working in the yard. And there is the old passenger depot that they're working on. It used to be the Dalton Depot restaurant, had a train that ran around it and everything. It was really, really cool. As you can see, they're working on it. And the other day when I was here, we were talking, it looks like they might be putting a railing on it where you can be trackside. And when CSX goes by there, that restaurant is close enough that you can fist bump either the engineer or the conductor, depending on his direction of travel. So haven't walked over there to look. Maybe tonight before I go, because I'm going to stop and see Austin while I'm down here today. But they're working there on the old freight depot. And this is the famous town for the great locomotive chase where the young man was jumped off the train as they were, oh, I know, John, but I couldn't make it to Irondale tonight. What's in Irondale? But this is, and as John will tell you, this is the spot where the young man jumped off the Fuller's train while they were in pursuit of the general and the raiders, and Andrew's raiders, and he managed to get the message off up to Ringgold to let him know that the general was not under the control of the Confederates. So, there's your southbound view. I know we missed the Conrail through here a while ago. And here is the northbound view. As you can see, dark clouds. Mama Bear is not going to get any sunset from here today, or at least not at the rate we're going. As you look northward, the track to the right is the Norfolk Southern Atlanta North District line, which will run up from here, will go up to past Waring and Cohutta, actually Vardell first, then Cohutta, and on up to Appleton, and then where we've been hanging out at the water tower, and then it'll go on in towards Chattanooga and the CNO and TP line if it's going to go north up to Cincinnati. The track that splits off to the left where the Cadillac's just going across, that is the W&A Sub, goes on up to Tunnel Hill. And if you've never been to Tunnel Hill, make sure you do, because they've got the old Civil War tunnel there that the general went through. And you can tour through it. There's a museum there. It's a great, great viewing spot. You will love Tunnel Hill. So that bends off at that point, goes on up to Tunnel Hill, crosses back over to Ringgold, then past the bird cam at the 122.8, then past the airport, and then over on the pass-through line as it goes past Coffey's Cliff out to Waxahachie, CSX Waxahachie. And after that, it'll go see Tony over in Cowan. So, that's where we are. That's what we're doing. That's what's up. We got a crowd here. Next train goes by, they're going to think there's an orange shirt convention being conducted right here underneath the $1 Million umbrella. There's the pigeon home over there. Matter of fact, there went a pigeon up right now. But we're underneath cover. So if it does rain, hopefully we'll be okay. If you like antiques and you've not been in Bucket List Antiques, that's the backside view of Bucket List Antiques. Make sure you do. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but let me tell you, if you just want one of everything, that's where you want to go. And if you like Cuban coffee, or if you've never had Cuban coffee, right there at Cigar Time. And it's not like you go in and he pours it. He's got to make it. So, it is super incredible. It's like creating a masterpiece, and he does a fine job. And his Cuban coffee, he muddles all this stuff up that he mixes, and then he pours some coffee in on top of that. It is totally, totally unique. Also, there's a bar there and a smoking lounge, so you can either sit inside, outside, just make yourself at home. But the Cigar Time right there on the corner, and that's the old Peacock Alley. And by the way, if you want a tattoo, you can get a tattoo right there too. And as John will probably tell you if he hasn't already, I haven't looked at the monitor, there are 2 diamonds here in Dalton. And you're looking at one. And the track closest to us, there comes the pigeons. The track closest to us does split off. And for those of you that watch the CSX that works on the siding, L808, that is the CSX siding down there. And as you can see, there are cars there tonight. And that track that splits off to the left that we were talking about makes that bend and becomes 2 over there. So, we still have red over red, but as you all know, red over red just means that the train can now come from the other way. It doesn't mean no train. And as Crash said, it's like fishing. You're in the boat, you're on the water, you know the fish are down there, you just gotta wait for something to bite. And when it does, then you find out what you get. And Gavin, you agree with that? See? Gavin agrees, so it's gotta be right. So, I'm gonna set you to the south here. Let me grab on the monitor. Let's see who all's here. Kid, the Welcome Center. Are you talking about the Welcome Center for Dalton, or are you talking about the Tunnel Hill Railroad Depot Museum? Which were you asking about? Okay, the Dalton Depot, the second one is, if you see that green sign, that is Junction Point Hair, H-A-I-R. If you see those cars that are crossing right there, that is where the second depot is, and that is the Visitors and Welcome Center for Dalton. And that's where the other depot is. It got, you can play, let's see what, ski golf, not ski golf, it's where you throw the disc golf. You can play disc golf there. It's got a huge 200-foot porch, has furniture and everything on it. It is just a beautiful, beautiful place to rail fan. So from where we are, it's probably 5, maybe 6 blocks straight down. And yes, that is exactly where the VRF camera is, the north and southbound. And if you, and many people don't know this, many people don't even know that camera's up there. Many people will stand there and talk about all kinds of subjects. And all of it is live on that cam. So if y'all go visit, don't talk about your neighbor if they're a rail fan, because chances are they're going to hear it. Jonathan, good to have you on tonight, sir. Thank you very, very much for hanging out with us. Hello, Missouri. Kit, how are you tonight? I hope your weather is good in Missouri. I haven't been keeping up with much other than our own, so I don't know if you're hot, wet, cold, windy, or dry. Ain't right? Always good to see you. Thanks for being on tonight. Ain't right, are you trackside or are you hanging out at the house? As you all know, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, which is Kid Outdoors, and Gavin are all hanging out trackside right here tonight. John's on with us, so if anybody has a question about anything railroad, it's like stump the conductor. Ask John. If he does not know the answer, I don't know that if there is an answer. Oh man, the executive special's going through there. Well, John, we ain't never gonna make it in time. That would be fun to see. That's something I have not seen. Well, hi, Tony. How are you tonight? Southern Railroad rail fan, what is new in your world of paradise? So we have M584 nearing Calhoun. Well, he needs to skip Calhoun and come on up here. And Gavin said to tell y'all, hello from right here, trackside at Control Point, North Dalton in, oh, it's going to the Masters. Well, geez, where does time go? It's time for the Masters already? John, why didn't we get an invitation? Ain't right? Ain't no better place to be home relaxing that way if you want a piece of watermelon, a favorite sandwich, or a bowl of cereal. It's all just right there, right then. Gavin, if you hear a horn, you start letting us know, okay? Gavin's on horn watch. You guys on cam are on light watch. Papa Bear's on quality control watch. And I'm hanging out watch. I'm going to be lazy and sit over here on the tailgate, get me a little iced tea. Gold Peak Unsweet. Kid, to answer your question on the why they sometimes stop here, right in front of us are the control lights coming north, and down at the other, as you can see, going south. Now, this section of track, or this yard, is a CSX yard. It is not a first come, first serve yard. It is controlled by CSX, and they issue the authorization who goes through first. So for example, if we have a CSX train coming southbound and the Norfolk Southern has the northbound approval, then the CSX train will stop anywhere between here and that junction point light. And for something that is coming up, same conversation. So a lot of times they are stopped close to the diamond waiting for their turn. Just depends. There's several different control points. Oh, you guys had tornadoes yesterday? I hope everybody in your family and everybody in your neighborhood are all fine, and that all of our first responders there have all the tools and everybody's careful. You never want to have that moment when that happens. We were just talking about, before I was programming the live to go on, about the eerie feeling when you hear the tornado siren go off, and is it, where is it, could it be, whatever, and what happens next. Now here, I got a quiz for y'all. Here, let me take you out here for a little bit so I don't give you seasickness. Now, from a person that's scared of heights, or really doesn't like heights, that ladder is solely resting on the side of that very tall old building. Now, who would like to shimmy up there? First person to say not me is me. Whoever did, they certainly have a lack of no fear. Tony, you gonna go up that ladder?
I'm afraid of heights, but I can go.
Oh, I ain't gonna stay down here. I'll just show you all on the cam. Oh, we've got, and we're only about 2 blocks from the downtown Dalton Fire Department, and there rolls our first responders. Now, no way I'm going, John. There could be a pot of gold up there with 2 leprechauns, and I ain't going up there to see it or grab it. So they're rolling on. Ken, what would you, oh, you would have been up there. Tony, we'll just fly your plane over the top and get an aerial view of what's up there. But anyhow, somebody, whoever's working on that roof, that is their plan, how to get up there without me. Well, hi, Chuck. How are you? No way I would do that either, John. Once we get about the height of the tailgate on production 6, I'm done. So other than our train in Calhoun, anybody got any trackside news? Bag Squatch, Seth, Jesse, any of you guys on tonight? I know Andy is on his way to Lakeland for a fly-in, so he's not on tonight. Chuck, you know, I have that same feeling every day. I'm just happy to be back at the auction. So I totally, completely understand your enthusiasm. All right, we are picturing facing southbound. We are all comfortable. Gavin's in the executive chair, awaiting the next horn here at Control Point North Dalton, which is just above Hare, Junction Hare, where the diamond is. Scanner is on, but very quiet. It's kind of been that way all week, when we should be able to be on our third set of fingers and toes. We've been lucky to be on our first set with the numbers we've had this week. Time for our future soccer players to come on out. Let's see, you all check out the skill level here. Whoops, a little bit too much. How long do we have? Soccer ball on the tracks. Yeah, I kind of did too. Gavin is giving us an initial report. John agrees, horn. It's hard to tell with the wind blowing as hard as it is. But we have two believe we hear horns. That would be northbound traffic, obviously. Uh-oh, false call. John heard a horn on another channel. John is a multi-control point watcher. Hello, the Abbeville Loyalist. And no, we didn't. Tony got to see it. Tony, you got to see it, did you not? Yesterday, but it went through us, to my understanding, during the night. The last I looked at it, it was past my bedtime. I am not a morning person, and on Thursdays, work starts at 7:30 a.m., which is being up at 6, and that is really tough for me. Now in Chuck's case, no problem at all because he just doesn't sleep. But for me, so I did not get to see the Monon. But last Friday, we were in, where were we last Friday? We were in Decatur, Alabama, and the Monon came up, we got to see it third back. The last I saw NYC was quite a ways out, and I don't know if he has to work Waxahachie. So the last I saw, Tony, you probably have the update on NYC, do you not? As our two future soccer players get ready for their next tournament. When mom and dad have had just too much, take the ball and go outside. Now that's a horn. You heard it from
You
Gavin.
stay right here.
That is a horn.
Y'all might want to hurry. And where is it coming from? It's coming from up there. Or that might just be something.
No, it's coming our way.
There's a train.
We all heard that one, didn't we?
Yeah, there's I'm getting
That could be L808. You know what? It could be the caboose. If we're lucky. Nope, it's an NS train. 188. Headed our way. Norfolk Southern 188. You across?
You know that BNSF fan? Why I made it just in time, BNS fan. Listen here. Well, I'm Can we hold your hand? Can we hold your hand?
That was cool.
It's still recording from the last train? No, like the last train.
Bag squatch? if you're up at Cohutta, 4845, our lead locomotive, headed on its way to you. Past Waring, Cohutta, Varnell, and then Apposon at that one spot that we all love called Long. And AC 44C6M leading our train northward. Puny horn, but hey, Gavin waved, and then he waved harder, and then we got our horn salute. So thanks for that train crew at 188. We appreciate that. And like we always talk, give your train crew plenty of space so they know you're going to be safe and they don't have to worry, and then they can have fun with you just like you have fun with them. So, anybody want to guess? Is our next train going to come from the north or next train from the south? In the meantime, soccer players are still practicing. Thank you for being on, Abbeville Loyalist. Thanks for subscribing every time we go live, which is almost every day from somewhere, someplace, at some time. You should get notification. Hop on anytime with us. And we only have a couple rules. Have a good time. If you have a bad time, don't tell anybody. Just come back and you'll have a good time the second time. If you have a good time the first time, tell everybody you know, even the people you don't like. Have a great night. Thanks for jumping on, and we will see you again at the next crossing. While the rest of us hang out, we're going to probably stay until around 8:30 tonight Eastern Standard Time, which it is currently 7:28. So we got 1 hour and 2 minutes to pack in every train we can before it gets dark, because the lights underneath this great big canopy that the city of Dalton and the state of Georgia built for us has no lights because they're all melted from the trains. All right, Jonathan's voting that the next train is coming from the south. Hey, AGS, how are you? We can answer that question for him. There is. He's talking to train M584 headed our way. Jacksonville is asking him to let him know if there are any cars on the siding track there. So, 584 on its way to Dalton. Soccer players still hard at work. And doing a great job because it has yet to hit the track. Hey, Bad Squatch! We were wondering where you guys were. You know, I wondered where it went because it took it forever to get up. In Back Squad, we had talked about the Conrail earlier, and that it took it forever to get up this way, and now it's tied down at Wheeler Dam Road. So if y'all check out the chat there from Bag Squatch. If anybody wants to see, as it coasted up the road, you can get pictures, Bag Squatch. I know it was third back, so that makes it tougher to get to it, but that train is there. And spending the night or the afternoon or the evening, who knows how long. But that's why we never saw it again after the Dalton Cam. Bag Squatch went out and tracked it down. Hey, check out the fancy head moves there. Another one. Now, if you were feeling energetic and you decided to start walking straight north on that track, you would find the Conrail. So, I guess it's probably a good thing it did start raining, and we decided not to go to Ottawa to try and risk catching it because we thought it would go past there, but like I said, it started raining, so we decided to go where we had an umbrella. North Dalton. And for those of you just joining, if you've not been with us before, we are live April 3rd, 2025. Within seconds, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and the Little Bear, and myself seeing it here, you guys see it there. Wonder what that last train crew thought when he saw 4 orange crayons standing right along the tracks, waving like we were homeless. And And y'all make plans for Monday because we're going to have a new furniture party over at Roberts. We're going to play with the dog and check out the new furniture. And as we were talking, there is what is kind of rolling towards us or over us or on us, whatever phrase you want to use. And we were talking about there's no lights under here. Let's see if it's still bright enough. Let's see if maybe we can get one of these here. Yeah, we might pull this off. Trying to find it here, just a moment. There we go. That is one of the lights underneath, on the underneath side of the overpass, up above the tracks. And when a train goes by, you can just feel the massive amount of warmth. Forget the thundering ground. The massive amount of warmth that we feel standing down here. I can't imagine how warm it is up there, but as you can see, the plastic covers up. It's coming from the south, going north, guys. Coming from the south, going north. And yes, that was 584 that we had talked about earlier that was down in Calhoun. So 584 is now past us. Those of you up in Tunnel Hill, you better race Trackside because he's going to be there in about 5 more minutes. And he rolled by. He called Jacksonville and told him there are 20 to 30 cars there on the siding at CSX Jacksonville, and asked him to confirm if there were or were not. And he said yes, 20 to 30. So that train came from the south. We got a double from the south. My guess, NS, or could be L808 coming out to work. We'll see. You just want another one of those fans. You get 2 fans in one night, you are picking the lottery numbers. As Matthew and Cody would say, we have glowage. Okay. North Dalton is a train for something. Gavin said we have an intermodal coming at us, Norfolk Southern. Gavin waved at him so hard, he blew that horn so long, I still can't hear. What a great horn salute. Well, what could be 26C, all those UPS units on there, John's thinking it could be, so I'm going to roll with John because when he called the control point, he was already too loud for me to hear it here on the scanner. We had those UPS up front, gives him extra priority, doesn't it, John? The lights came on. The pigeons have gone to roost. They stay in the dark section. And all that clicking you hear are the cars going overhead. Oops, that wasn't the plan. But I guess while you're here, we'll look at that, and then we'll look up at our lights. As you see the crossover point. And we have lights over there, and we have lights behind us, but we have no working lights above us. What do you think, Gavin? Good times?
You had fun.
Gavin, you're going to give us a big, yeah, good times?
Yeah.
Gotta say it louder. Gotta say it louder. Look
Yeah,
at
good times.
Yeah, good times, you heard it. It's now official. Complete with a BNSF fan.
Salute.
You want to talk some more? No? Had that look there for a moment. You done sitting?
Yeah, we're fixing to head out. He's getting tired.
I have to stop by with me so we can get him a bath.
We on spring break?
Yeah, he goes, we've had him all week, he goes home tomorrow.
One more
I want to go
day.
with him this one.
I haven't talked to your mom about it. Okay.
Sure. You handle
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I gotta handle that one. That's all right, Daddy can handle that. All I gotta do is ask her. See what she says, I don't know if she's got something planned or if she does, she say, I don't know. Always good, yeah.
You sure there's no last message you want to tell everybody?
Nah.
Last,
I do want to give it over so we go.
What do you want to do?
he wants to give me
So-
Oh, okay, hang on a second. Okay, it's all yours. Is that
Have a
mine?
nice day.
Yeah.
All of you have a nice day.
Gavin wants you all, there's a motorcycle in the background making all kinds of noise. That's his new BNSF fan, and he wants to tell you, everybody, have a fantastic evening and a good, nice rest of the day. You outdid yourself. All right, we are looking back south. We're gonna do a Rail Bomix group hug. Group hug. Oh, okay, group hug in front of the camera. We're gonna make this a camera event. Right, we'll go right there.
Go right here.
Right there.
Right here. Heard that scanner go off.
All right, group hug.
All right.
Everybody be safe, be careful, be good.
We will.
As we all wait, well, one of us is going to wait for the next train. There's Jacksonville CSX talking.
We can still watch on our phone.
Hi, everybody. See ya.
Mama Bear, Papa Bear, the little bear, all headed home. Back to Georgia on the other side of the mountain. Good night, you guys. You all be safe, be careful. You keep them out of trouble, okay? See y'all later. Have a good night. All right, as you heard, he's going to let L808 out onto the main for CSX, where it's about 45 minutes before we have a southbound. And as you can see, the quality control team is off duty, headed home. And we have another 19 minutes to see if we can't snag one more before we call it a night here at Control Point North Dalton. Tony's got 2 Heritage units on the way to Cowan. He is living large tonight. All right, everybody. You know what that means. John will tell you, when we threaten to turn this off, a train shows up. How pretty is that in the lighting tonight? I know, I gotta get out more if I think a railroad yard with red and green lights is pretty, but it is beautiful here. Let me span this out just a little bit. right, we are going to have one more tonight before we end tonight's live. So for those of you that just jumped on or been here the whole time, we are going to finish it up with one more southbound NS locomotive right here through the Dalton yard. For L808, the CSX switcher is currently out working there on the main, and we're hanging out at north end of Dalton. And it could be, since we've not had it yet, our southbound could very well be 29F, and if so, there's a great chance that you'll see more UPS trailers on the end of it. So one more coming to us. When we hear horn, we'll swing her to the north and catch our our southbound Norfolk Southern coming. Too many ends there. Yes, Kid Outdoor, you have been busy tonight. You also have a lot of driving yet to do. Unless Mama Bear's in charge of driving. And yeah, it does remind you of Christmas, all the red and green. It's kind of funny how much brighter the red is versus the green. Our southbounder will conclude our evening here. Once it gets to a point of dark, it's just hard to see anything here. Plus, I got to meet Austin tonight here in Dalton. So y'all get ready. We do have one more coming our way. Everybody, it's great to have you on. It is, and I know I'm going to tell you it's really a peaceful night out, and you're going to say, Mike, how can it be? You hear the click of the cars going over the seams on the overpass, but it's just a beautiful evening out. The wind has finally died down. My hair's not going 17 directions anymore, but it's just a super nice evening out here in Dalton. Actually, North Dalton is the control point that we're at. So, for those of you first time, or for those of you that subscribe tonight, thanks from Casey and I. We appreciate that. The more fun, and that's why we're here. But we are live. This is our rolling cam for Production 6. When we're on site, last night we were running just a 3-second delay from what you saw, where we caught the Heritage locomotive. We've had 2 this week. And so it's been a fun week. We try to go as often as we can, never know where is next. The other day we were all the way out at Whiteside at the old tunnel, the old Civil War tunnel, and later that night over on the CNO and TP we caught the Pennsylvania. So you just never know what's next. And it's meant to be a good time, a fun time. Y'all chat, get your friends to hop on with us. No matter where you are, be trackside or whatever. And unlike production, whatever's happening here, you see it as it happens. Just like that fishing that we talk about. So I always give the date once or twice, which is today, April 3rd, 2025. Been a long, busy Thursday. We were going to try and catch the Conrail, but it started raining up in Chattanooga, as we talked earlier tonight, but then they ended up tying it down outside by Cohutta and Varnell in that area, so it's tied down there. Maybe they'll take it out into the yard later tonight. Not really sure its plan, but we ended up here since it was raining. We knew we could use this massive $1 million umbrella to hang out under, and we are going to hang out to catch one more here on the Atlanta North District line. And as you saw, 584 going up on the CSX, the W&A Sub, the historic line that the General went up that made history, that pretty much everybody kind of knows just as much as the Chattanooga Choo Choo song. So, I'm still on the monitor, A-Right, everybody's on, John's on. If anybody's got a railroad question about literally anything, John is a walking railroad encyclopedia. He probably knows that answer. Hit him with the question. And call a friend, tell them to hop on. If they don't know about Rail Moments being live, fill them in. And like I said, you can even tell somebody you don't like. We like to have everybody just have a good time. Scanner talks. I try and go quiet. We do carry lights, and we're going to set up someplace, although it's a little bit of a project, but we can throw 80,000 lumens out across the track. So, I'm just going to keep you on the lights till we have horn, and I think that's it at the moment. We're at one of the two diamonds here in town. Our train will be coming from that direction, going to the green, as you already know. It was a great surprise to see the Bear family. And like I said, it's just a beautiful dark cloud, but just a beautiful sky tonight. Just a nice look tonight. And it's time to bring the trash cans out. That's not a motorcycle you hear, that's trash can patrol. And they push that thing a long distance, but here it comes. Tony got a cut in the shave. He's ready to go out on the town and chase some heritage units. Now that is a new version of Kick the Can. They brought a great big can. Where we are still looking for our southbound NS green light train. Maybe you can see me, maybe you can't. It's just a little bit dark here. Hang on, I can fix that. Y'all stand by. There. I'm a little blurred, but I'm back. Well, everybody, that is going to conclude tonight's live. I'm going to pack. We'll be out for another moment or two. Once the live's done and I hit the blue DONE on the recorder, it will process through YouTube. You guys will be able to watch this over and over. Kurt right now will be on Rail Moments under Live. And once Casey does his thumbnail and all those other cool things, we may have a horn, so we may not be done. Once Casey does all those other cool things, it will go into the Rail Moments Trackside Library. But I hear a strong horn in the background, so let's sit tight. That could be our CSX train that they had talked about earlier. And as John said, about the time we get ready to turn this off, it'll be time for a northbound. So, we got a diesel truck pulling up, got a little extra noise there, but let's go ahead and get back trackside. And if we do have horn, we will stay on until this one's gone. And I do believe if we do have it, will probably be, just like John said, CSX northbound, like Jacksonville CSX was talking. So let's listen and see what we get. Well, I hope we didn't get tricked. I know I heard a horn. Could have been L808. I see this car still going across the crossing, the next one down. It is 8:54 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get, if that was one, we're going to give it 6 minutes till 9 o'clock here on Rail Moments. And if we don't have one by then that was L808 doing his switching down there. And as John would tell you, every time we do a countdown, it's a train. Well, everybody, I believe we got tricked by L808. So I'm going to start packing, and then I'll jump on before we hit the done button. Hope everyone's had a good time tonight. It's been a fun time, and it was really great to see the bears, Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Little Bear. What a great surprise that was. Good night, Robert. Good night, Ken. Good night, everybody. Good night, John, Crash, Eugene, Chuck, everybody that's been on tonight. Tony with his new haircut. Good night to the Bear family. Oh, it's been a good time. Everybody, thank you from Casey and I. We appreciate you being with us tonight. It's always a good time trackside. So, from Casey and I, to you and your family, we will see you trackside probably tomorrow, Friday, April 4th. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Robert, good luck with all that new furniture coming. We'll bring the chips. You provide the steaks. And we'll bring a dog toy for a housewarming present. So, good night, everybody. See y'all trackside tomorrow. And I hope y'all had a good time. Tell everyone you know. Don't forget, send your kicks for the weekend. And that's it. It's been fun. Bye, guys.